Hello everybody, it's your boy N here. I'm coming at you guys with another YouTube video. So, the Shadow is the best sword in the game, at least in my opinion. This sword has received such a crazy buff. The toxic damage on here is ridiculous, the base damage is ridiculous. Every sword got giga buffed. The Deus, I believe, is around a 2 times buff, but the Hypernova and Shadow is around a 4 times buff. The setup for this sword still stays the same though. The orange core is still going to be a weapon attack core. The blue core is still going to be a toxic attack core. We still do build this weapon into additional melee chance and damage, so it's still a multi-hit style of sword. And then with the additional attack chance and damage, I would change the crit rate on the substats to being melee attack, but I've run out of Legos, I'll be real with you guys, so that's what I would go with on there. For the actual mods on this sword, this is what I would go with as well. You do want an extend ammo mag. Playing with the raid, playing my god, bro. Thank you so much for the raid, playing. Make sure to give playing a shout out, please. Thank you, Sai, I appreciate you. Playing, I will tend to you in a minute, and I'm going to show you some giga cool stuff. So with the rest of the sword setup, it's not really changed. You still want range, you still want attack speed, you still want the multi-hit. The toxic conductor would be the only mod that I would say is a little bit of an interchangeable one. With this one, you could go with xAlisa to basically change up the bubbles and nuke the bubbles. In the gameplay I showed you, I was not using xAlisa, but you can use this to nuke bubbles. Other than that, you just want to match it with toxic conductor, I would say. And I think this is overall just generally what you would want to run for your swords. Plain, let me show you something hella cool, right? So with the swords in general, if you were to use them on general mobs, let's use Legion of Breach as an example, because Axion is kind of the baseline for the game as of right now. Even with this off, if I go in with the unique attack, you one-shot them. Like, you literally one-shot an average Axion mob with the sword. And if you're just going crazy with this in general, you can absolutely tear apart hordes. And this, in my honest opinion, is what the sword should have been on its initial release. This sword is satisfying, it's good, it's strong. Hell, even if you want to start throwing hands with a Colossus with a sword now, you genuinely have that option, which is kind of cooked. But you can like annihilate gluttony with the sword. You know, the swords have actually become so strong. It is so good. And I know you're not going to use the Shadow on Warcrasher because you absolutely shouldn't, but you know what, that actually does damage, you know. That's the worrying part, it does damage. That actually does damage. That is cooked. Imagine just, yeah, this would be cooked. So let me show you a little bit more gameplay where I think the sword is actually genuinely worthwhile. So I'm going to start off with some I'll start off with some gameplay inside of Void Vessel 2. Now, Void Vessel 2 is going to be another really standard effect. I am running this with Keelan. So, specifically with Keelan, because Keelan was your ideal setup with the sword, if you'll call it that. But Keelan with this sword now genuinely plays a fair bit better. Would I say it's the best setup ever? No, but it's at least viable now. Also, I was using ray tracing whilst recording, forgive me. But just in general, you can see that this actually practically works very, very well. The overall DPS across all of this is something that you'd actually kind of want to mess around with. It does work out practically, and just in general, the sword actually does so much damage to be, well, genuinely fun at this point. And I can't believe I'm glazing the Shadow and calling it the best sword, but compared to the Deus now, I prefer the fluidity and speed of the Shadow because the damage almost matches it. You're not forgiven? My bad, Sila, bro. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. But the fluidity of this sword really does match it, and it's something that it's something that I do stand by. I genuinely think this sword is in such a good position. It's an actual fun alternative to like what you can use for other elements in the game. Would I say it's better than the Deus? The Deus still does more overall flat hard hitting DPS, but the fluidity and speed of this sword honestly make up for it. The unique ability on here, however, is still lacking. I still would like an actual lock-on mechanic inside of this sword, but I can't complain about this sword any longer. It is genuinely in such a good position right now. I also recorded a run with Bunny inside of Axion, if I can find the gameplay. Was it this run? Nope, this is a wall crasher. We're actually cooked. Am I blind? It should be this, right? Nope, this is... Oh, this is another clip I can show you as well, because this is relevant too. So, I was not using Veil Analyzer inside this clip, but... once I do destroy the Arcade Slayer's shield bubble with skills, this is the Shadow fighting the Arcade Slayer, which is the Vessel 2 boss. My aim isn't the greatest, and this is why I'd also say that a lock-on mechanic would also be really, really cool. But this is what you'd kind of want with the sword in general. When you do lock onto the boss and get a nice clean hit, you can absolutely one-shot his health, or you can still annihilate him. So... yeah, this sword is genuinely worthwhile. Is this the bunny clip I'm looking for? This is in fact the bunny clip I'm looking for. So let me show you what it does to Axion mobs and bosses as well. So whilst I was in Axion, this isn't the fastest gameplay because I wasn't focusing on speed, more so focusing on what this sword is capable of doing. If you look over here, I see this big sperm whale. I lock in, I use the sword, and he's literally dead. One unique ability, Dash from the Shadow, is enough to one-shot the Axion Tyrants, which is chef's kiss. It's amazing. And especially for efficient farming, once you do line yourself up and get used to aiming with the sword and stuff like that, you can aim at like the toes of them, and or just aim at the bottom of the boss, and you will like literally obliterate the boss. Another very nice thing with the Deus as well, or sorry, with the Shadow, is you want to feel like a ninja, you've got that privilege. Once you kill enough mobs here and the ships spawn in, sometimes your skills don't always 100% one-shot it. So do you know what does one-shot it? It's not your skills. Yeah, you guessed it. The Shadow also one-shots Axion ships with its unique ability too. You can jump into the ships and do ridiculous levels of damage. It's such a good, and it's a fun sword. I can't believe I'm glazing this so hard, but I actually love this weapon so much. I, even with Hypernova, understood that it was worthwhile and it was a genuine good alternative, but I think I have the absolute most fun with the Shadow. Like, just undeniably. The Shadow is the strongest sword in the game, and there's a possibility of even the Shadow becoming maybe even the best stat stick for Luna, or maybe even the Deus becoming even stronger, so on and so forth. So what happens with the final boss in Axion? Even if you get into a swinging contest with it, it's going to be a fast one. If you use your unique ability on it, however, yeah, you're pretty much done and dusted, because even in the air, you're going to rip the boss apart. Like I said, the Shadow is a goated sword, and we're currently in probably one of the best places this sword has ever been, and I recommend it. If you didn't farm your Shadow, you might as well start farming it now, because it's absolutely worth it. So anyways guys, that's basically been this video, and I hope you've enjoyed. Let me know why you love the Shadow so much, because I'm refused to accept any comment saying the Shadow is bad. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. Please just smash that like button. If you are new here, please do consider subscribing. I make plenty of videos on the first Descendant, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace!